Alright, we are back with the last time of us seeing Far Cry. This is the Far Cry 6 review. We have beaten all of the story, 100%ed her. Uh, we've gotten all the little subsection stuff, at least what matters, from F&D bases to yarn stories to everything else. I decided against doing any of this because it is just stupid. It's just a reskin of It's just basically the exact same areas. Like, I even took over one real quick to see how it is. Same area, slightly tougher enemies, and by tougher I mean their health bar is red, and they still all get taken out with one shot. And I've decided against doing that last Lola spec op. I saw it. The person gets taken down with one bullet, as always, so it's just pointless. There's nothing story-wise or anything, it's just whatever. But besides that, we're gonna get into this review. Like, comment, subscribe, notifications, all that stuff, and let's go. As always, I like to say that what I believe the three most important things within any game is the story, the gameplay, and the graphics. Those are the big three. If you have those three doing pretty good, the rest can kind of go to the wayside. But the most important things are these things to me. Now, what is it? Far Cry 6 came out, I believe, like 2020, and reviews aren't the best for it for people. I usually try not to look too deep into it. I'll watch like the Before You Buy and Joe Raptor for Ubisoft type stuff, but reviews weren't the best. No one really cared, and it kind of really died off. I only even played this kind of because it was free on PS Plus, and I saw a video talking about how bad it was, and I was like, can't be that bad. You know, I saw some trailers. I saw Gus was in it. I knew that, just never got around to it. And then I played it, and I've seen how not fun it is. I've complained, I've nearly given up hope on life. I've ran all around this stupid island, fighting and killing and doing what I could. And yeah, the game took me 50 to 62 hours, give or take. It's a little weird. At least recordings wise, I have like 50 hours, but for if you sit there, it counts it on the PlayStation app, but whatever. And I think the first thing I'll just talk about is the graphics, the world, and where better to go than the big city, which very dumb to me that I still can't airdrop here, even though the main villain is gone. Like, okay, but let's go to it. Let's look at this place and talk about the graphics. Graphics. I'll say that the graphics of this game aren't terrible. They're not like the best graphics on this entire earth, you know? There's things like that, how it's clipping into this idiot's body. Oh god. There's things like this. Uh there's little graffiti and there's little things here and there, but besides that, I don't know. The world itself is kind of barren and bland. There's not a ton of, as you saw, like that's just one small spot. I'm just walking around, but there's not a ton of people. There's not a ton of diversity in the people. Like this guy, I've seen him 100 times. This guy about 40 times. Don't know who that guy is, but as you can see, it's not the most wealth. Who even are those people? Oh, I've seen a lot of these characters like 10 different times over. A lot of their character models, who they are, things like that. It's the same thing over and over and over. You'll see the same person like 100 times at hideouts and bases and stuff like that. The map is probably the only slightly interesting thing, but besides that, every single place looks about the same from above and below. There's little red spots where they're kind of bases, but it's just really some buildings and an antenna with where they could call backup. Nowhere really feels any different. No spot is all that. The mount, like, I don't know what these are supposed to, if this is supposed to be farmlands, if this is supposed to be city, but it didn't feel like that ever. It all just feels like a bunch of grassy mountain areas. Like, look at this. This place has a bit more trees, a mountain or two, but besides that, the only real thing that's like night and day is Esperanza and the rest. If that was the point they were going for, I don't know. But the world itself is very flat and barren and boring. You know, it's nothing, it doesn't feel like anything. Like, I've never been to Cuba. I've heard and seen pictures of Cuba that look a lot better than this. The game had, when the trailers and stuff came out, there was more promise of more towns and things like that, but there's really nothing much. It's either a base or a very small rundown area, and that is it. Like, look at this place. I could that's one area. Now let's go to a whole other section and tell me how different this looks from above. Because it's nothing much. To be honest, like it's just eh. Like I said, there's some farm stuff, but besides that, you wouldn't really be able to tell this is a different area without like being told this is a different area. I'm not asking for night and day. I'm not asking for ups and downs, but Jesus, if an air, I wish areas remotely mattered. I wish they maybe even had something to do with the person who took over the spot, but nope. None of the areas are different. I will say there are things such as Lola's Spec Ops that do look they look kind of good. I mean, the areas we went to were slightly interesting. They were all kind of different. They were about the
I
most
know
per
Paulo's got a lot going on with the cat, but we need all hands on deck.
Lola's Spec Ops areas were the only things that had any type of personality behind them. It was the only spot where it felt like, okay, I'm going somewhere
Shit.
different, and each one is different. We got the crocodile spot, we had the dinosaur park, we had the mudslide area, we even had the castle auction thing with the rapper, and then even this place is kind of different. I didn't play it, but this type of place was different. It was something, at the very least. When it comes to characters and stuff like that, I mean, I, I mean, I don't know. I've always said that the word diverse isn't inherently good, but it's kind of a group of diverse characters. I mean, they all kind of look how you'd expect them to look. I mean, it's not like anyone's all, I mean, badass girl, you can see the frown on her face. Sketchy guy, yep. Old head who loves to fight, of course, cigar. Rap group, ugh. Uh, can't see the villains anymore, but smart girl, you see she has glasses, but it's none of the characters look too crazy. When it comes to Danny, your character, you can pick a guy or a girl, so this is the fit I picked. You can transmog, which is good always. The fits they're okay. They're slightly interesting. The backpacks look kind of cool at times. They all have their little stuff in them, like horns. This because it's poison, electricity, things like that. Nothing too much, nothing crazy. Guns look cool-ish. I mean, they look cool. That's the whole other thing. There's not a ton of these that I personally think look good, but they're all kind of different. Some that are more military-esque, some that are kind of weird, and then the dinosaur head. But but when it comes to customization stuff, it's kind of basic. Nothing too crazy. When it comes to our look, it's just whatever. You get tons of skins from spray paint cans that are usually in duffel bags, and that's about it. I will say though, when it comes to cutscenes were weird for me. Every time Costello was on screen, he looked horrible. His eyes looked really big to me, and he every time he was on screen, there would be a lot of frame rate drops for me. There weren't the game never crashed either when it comes to the graphics, or there were some load-ins and things like that. And then I will say another one positive is the amigos. They all looked kind of good with their little thing. I mean, they're wacky, but they look good enough. They don't look crazy. Like that dog looks fine to me. Chicken, Boomer, oh god, and then the panther, most OP thing in the game. They all look fine. They all look pretty good. I will say for me, the graphics are at a like 6.8. They're not bad graphics. They're good. They get the job done. I wouldn't say the game's like beautiful, and when I look at it, it's just like Christ. Like there's some times when I'm skydiving and the sky looks cool. That's about it, but nothing to take home to for me at least. Even the car, like You can customize it a bit, but it's a car. Like, it's just I don't think it was really their focus. They didn't really care. Ooh, God, I don't know what I should do. I think next up I will story and gameplay. I'm gonna rant on for a while. Jesus, those dogs. Hold. Okay. When it comes to what should be first, hold on. Parrot. Oh God, those dogs. Okay, I'd say the story is what I guess I'll talk about next. The story is it is a term of pure anger. I'll talk about certain things. So the story basically, we're Danny Rojas, orphan that was in the army at one point. Our friend, basically, our friend dies while we're all trying to get out of War Yara, controlled by Castillo, Anton Castillo, the president, voted in. We're trying to get out of there, and they end up getting killed. We end up joining the guerrilla group known as Libertad, who are fighting to basically just not have this guy who's trying to cure cancer, also something we all kind of ignore, but he's enslaving people, he's killing people, making people disappear, be silenced, he's doing anything he wants. So this guerrilla group tries to stop it. We kind of get guilt tripped, I guess, into joining them. We basically do everything, join all these three different groups together, and we work all together to ultimately stop Costello. That's a very broad way to say how the story went. It did not go good at all. It sucked, every single aspect. Now, let me say one thing. Jesus, the setting of Yara is not the best place. It's like I said before, it's very bland, but I don't really care about Yara. I don't care about the people. I don't care about really anyone. The game doesn't care that you don't care, and it doesn't try to make you care. You don't feel like this is your home because Danny was actively trying to leave at one point. Danny didn't even want to be here at first. He wanted to go. Or she. You can pick up whatever. Danny wanted to leave. Didn't want to stay here. Wanted to go. Wanted to get out. When it comes to Yara, it doesn't feel really diverse. Like I said before, it feels flat when it comes to to the story. It doesn't feel like anything. Like I don't know how to really say much about the setting besides it's a place. I'd call it a sandbox, but sandboxes usually allow you to create something. There's not a ton to create. Uh, for the story, Danny as a character sucks. He or she, I'm gonna say he since I picked a guy. He is the worst. All he does is he is the most blanket character I have seen in my days. All Danny does is accept things, get weirdly upset, and then just go along with whatever. He is just the most boring blank slate I've seen in my days. Why they even wanted Danny to be a character that talks only for him to have no personality is ridiculous to me. What was the point of it? Why say that Danny has a personality just for us to end up going with anything? I don't get it. Anton, garbage villain. I know the guy that plays Gus. He's a good actor. I know I've seen him in things. He's great. He can come off as intimidating. Horrible villain. Worst villain in probably the series. Anton was barely around. Anton did nothing to us till like the end of the game. We see him like I think 3 times at best, and nothing happened with him. And for oh god, that ending for it to end with Anton just killing himself is ridiculous. It ends with him killing himself, and that's just stupid. His son Diego made no sense to me because in one scene he'll be all I don't want to do this, and then all yeah let's do this. Every single side villain just I have no connection to them. That's really the word of the game. It's a lack of connection. From Anton's nephew, what's his name? Jose Castillo. Jose Castillo, who is supposed to be, a slave driver. He's a slave driver, controls the poison. Viviro, he controls the poison. He comes off as nothing. We see him like once or twice. He kills this girl's dad, and that's really it. We kill him, gone. Uh, Maria Marquesa, I said it before. I don't even know if she deserved to die, really. Like, they didn't really make it seem like she did much of anything. She kind of seemed innocent. The doctor came out of nowhere, and I felt nothing about him. Bembe, oh Jesus Christ, Bembe was the worst. And he's alive. He's alive. Up and running. Who were these other two? The Admiral, who we saw in one cutscene, then killed, and then the Canadian that they kept calling a Yankee. Also saw him like once or twice, and then killed him. And it's just all stupid. Even the little choice thing that you had at the end to like kill him or not was ridiculous. Why would they even allow us to do that? Christ. Side characters also are God, God, God. Let me talk about the Yaren stories are very stupid and pointless. There's some of them in every area. A Yaren story that gets you the Bandinos operator, but when it comes to the operations, they're pointless because after a while they just give you the same thing over and over. They often cost stuff, and honestly, by the time you get two or three of the Bandidos operators, you don't need any more. You can just use them, get through missions, get plenty of supplies, and then not need to do it anymore. It's kind of dumb, at least to me. It's very dumb. The collectibles, all completely useless. Songs, roosters, chest. After a certain point in the game, even I gave up on it. I gave up on the chest and just walked away from it. There's no... Oh god, shut up. At a certain point in the game, there's no point of it anymore. Because you've gotten more than enough supplies. But look, like I said, some money and some supplies of stuff that I don't need because I have plenty of. I have hundreds of recruits and all 8 leaders, some of whom I don't even remember meeting. None of it matters because you really just need these first 3 and then you're pretty much set throughout the game. Uh, Another thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to the story is the army's control, quote unquote. The army feels so underrepresented, which is part of the reason why Castillo doesn't feel like anything. They'll be in their areas. They usually stay in their areas and they do nothing to you after that. They'll be in there, and if you come in there, they're complete morons and they have no idea where you are or what you're doing. Even in the city's just stupid. The city itself, like, they're all around. You're basically trespassing all the time. They're everywhere and they'll hurt you. And it's just like, yeah, it's just kind of like, hey, we're here, and that's it. But besides that, it feels like they're nowhere really, much at all. They're around, but not really. And even the mission structure and how the story or the side stories make it so that you deal with them, it doesn't ever feel like a mission is set up and then we go to a new area. It's like every area, if it's an area that has nothing, you're usually gonna have a mission there, side mission, something. So that's just kind of lazy to me. Like, make it so that we can be at random areas and we get attacked. Make it so that, I don't know, I'm here, we just get it. I don't know. But besides that, besides that, uh, Christ, I don't even know what to say. The Amigos, it's very stupid. Story-wise, it makes no sense. It's kind of crazy. They wanted to take what they took from Far Cry and do that again. But it's dumb because you can get this one, who's the most OP of all of them, in my opinion, who can bring himself back to life, who can be stealthy, and who can just fight in general and get rid of bodies. You can get him immediately. As soon as you get... All you need to do is go to those 3 areas that I went to before, get the skulls, you kind of fight him, you fight, what's this thing's name again? Aluso. You fight him with a gun that they give you, and then you get him. And that's it. It's ridiculous. The other ones are stupid, they're kind of useless. One's even a callback to Far Cry 5 with Boomer, which is just lazy to me. Come up with your own thing, in all honesty. And yeah. Oh, God. Another dumb thing, story-wise, is the way that Anton's people level up. It doesn't mean that there's more of them. It doesn't mean there's more troops. It just means wherever you are in this certain area, the guys are a higher level. which is just ridiculous to me. Why would you not just make more troops, make him do? It's just Anton does nothing to us, honestly. It's God, it's so dumb. Then I don't even know what to say next about the side characters who are almost as bad as the villains. I've talked about Diego and them, but our teammates, Clara, the allegedly she was the leader of Libertad, but we see her about 10 times and barely ever talk to her. Juan, who basically just does whatever he wants under the scenes, tried to kill a kid, no one cares, perfect. We have, oh, the badass girl who's being held back by her father, kind of, not really, I don't even get her. Her dad, who was just like an typical angry old man who didn't trust anyone, gave us the nickname, called us a tourist. Wow. I've talked about this fucker. Oh my god, Maximus Montanzas is the worst. They're up there with the worst. Trans, so you know what that means. This one always talks about how being trans is tougher than life. Loud black girl. They really did it. There was the fat guy. Don't know what happened to him. Don't know if you even got a picture. Who cares? Or the fat guy, that fat suicidal idiot. We had El Tigre, a legend of 67, who he's that typical old head in games who's just like he's crazy, he's angry, he'll cut his arms, he loves explosions and stuff like that. It's very boring. He was that guy. And then we had what was that dumb girl's name? We also had Horan, who was I don't know what she was. Oh, I guess she was a baseball player, softball player girl, and that was it. That's all I really know about her. She liked baseball and she liked fighting, I think. And then we had Yelena, bad as hell for sure, but boring nerd girl who became the leader, had no personality, went through a school shooting. What all this means story wise is I think that the biggest problem with this game, among many, is no one cares. Nothing matters. Nothing is important. No one has any depth. No villain. No person. No area. None of it matters. It's just there. Like, they did not even try. I don't even know what to say. There's so many moments throughout the game I was sitting there like, what? Why? Who cares? What is this? What is happening? Like, I'm supposed to care about her struggle with her dad when her dad dies 2 seconds after that struggle even remotely starts to shake. I'm supposed to care about these idiots. I'm supposed to feel so teary eyed, like, oh my gosh, Paulo got their top surgery with no drugs. That's how much they wanted to do this. That's still a waste of medical supplies and a bad timing. I don't care. I'm supposed to care about Yelena's stupid school shooting or lack of boyfriend when all she does is nearly get us killed and everyone else and just scoffs at it. Even this, I'm supposed to just completely bat an eye to how Juan got Clara killed. He literally shot at a child, which they all seem to just walk past, and then Anton killed her, and no one cares. It's so stupid. The story, all none of it makes sense. It's just them saying things, forced conflict, woke moments, pandering, ridiculous reasons. I can't even, I don't know how to even get my words into this story because everything is just idiotic. My gosh, I don't know. I don't know what more to say about it. The story is just the biggest waste of time, energy. It's just a ton of things and ideas and pandering to the highest degree. There was a moment in this where I was wondering, is this game woke? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, we got a couple girls who are, of course, are in the terms of leadership, and then it just kept going and going, and then it really peaked with these two areas where you have the young and the old, and then you have trans. I think she's trans, and then he's trans, whatever this thing is, trans and black girl, and it's just like so much. It's so stupid. It's like it doesn't even make sense in the moments. Not to mention that after these two died, we are sitting there helping a drag queen do some live show thing. It's just ridiculous. I can't even comprehend why. It's like they just wanted to check boxes. Christ. It's like they wanted to check boxes, but then they freaking forgot, oh yeah, we have to make a game with a story. Like, I can't believe there was actually an executive that said, hey, after El Tigre and Horon die, let's have you be able to help some trans or some drag queen do some stuff. Okay. Like, that's ridiculous. Then the next thing, I'm gonna do this last, but let me say real quick. The graphics, instead of 6 point, the story is so stupid. I can't. It's not a 9, an 8, a 7. I don't even think it's a 6. It's just idiotic. I think I can't even comprehend it. With all the stupidity of all the stupid characters, I don't know. I don't know. It's just horribly written. A 4. I'll say the story's a 4 at best. That's only because at least there's a beginning, middle, and end, I guess. At least I understand, I guess, how we got there. Not really. But there's so many lacks of motive. There's so little emotion. There's so little care. There's so little understanding. I don't know. None of the villains stuck. Because half of them didn't even seem bad. The other half were just like poorly developed. They didn't have to put all these extra people. One person can be the villain per spot, like other Far Cries. But no, they had to try to do extra. Each of our freaking allies, quote unquote, all they were all just idiots that did nothing to help us and made us do all the work. She's supposed to be a badass because she killed some guy quietly. That's not cool. I mean, she was like in one mission, and I've never been shown why she's supposed to be so cool. Even this person, set aside what I believe about trans stuff, I'm supposed to believe that this one's life is so tough being trans, and we're not shown a single instance of that. Not once. They just keep doing that thing where they tell you how you should feel, and they think you should feel it. I'm not supposed to kill Bembe because there's always going to be another one. No proof of that, but okay. This one. We're supposed to destroy the patriarchy, but we kill the highest ranking girl in the entire military. Nice. This one, he's a Yankee, but he's from Canada. Okay. And he's a rich corporate guy, and so that means he's the worst. Haran, baseball, guns. El Tigre, guns. Oh god, her computers, and she does what she has to do. She's a prodigy. Even La Morale themselves are idiots. The way they tried to make these people seem like there's some young generation that'll make sure to keep uh Libertad from becoming like bad and stuff. It was just like, shut up. It's all so horribly convoluted. A 4 is being kind of nice, if I'm being honest. The last thing I do want to talk about is the gameplay. Now, how the gameplay works is genius almost. So, every gun, they have their damage, they have all that. That kind of doesn't matter. Modifiers don't matter either. All that matters is this. There are different ammo types. You have standard, which in the description says it's really useless. I don't know why. You have standard, which is supposed to not really do a ton to anyone. Armor piercing is for enemies with helmets, stuff like that. Armor. Soft target is for usually people who we just shoot in the body. Then you have poison, which is supposed to turn enemies on their allies and help us, but it takes a couple shots. Blast rounds are for freaking vehicles. You shoot at them and it does better against them. And then incendiary, which is supposed to set them on fire for a short while and do damage over time. But as you see, they all have their problems. Standard is kind of completely useless against just about everyone, as it says, except for headshots. Armor piercing, only really good for people with armor. If you don't have armor and you're shooting them in the body, it's useless. So it's really just to get through people's helmets. But it's still good with headshots. I will say though, back to standard, if you try to headshot someone with standard bullets, it'll do anyone, any level, I've tested it, except for someone with a helmet. Anyone, any level, helmet. Anyone, any level, headshot, helmet. It will make them turn eventually. I think they turn quicker is all. And these other three, their little gimmick kind of destroys how they work. All of these ammo types, the latter half of them suck. Literally, that's why all I did was use armor piercing and soft target. You just shoot anyone you shoot in the body, use soft target. Anyone you need to get a headshot off with, armor piercing. And that's it. Because poison doesn't work very good, and it takes so many shots to get someone actually to turn and help you. Blast, why would I shoot at a car when I can just use a rocket launcher? And then incendiary doesn't even do good damage over time. They're on fire for all of 2 seconds and then they stop. Let me see. One Mississippi. Two Mississippi. Okay, that's actually smarter. Let me find someone real quick, see how that works. One Mississippi. Ah, that might not be the best example. Ah, I can't get the best examples, but they don't stay on fire for very long, and they can still shoot you while they're on fire, which is not the best. You know, you think fire they wouldn't be able to focus because they're on fire, but no, they can. When it comes to the weapon customization, it's so bare minimum. Like there's only, it's here. That's what I would say. So see that, and he can still shoot at me while he's on fire. It's idiotic. But when it comes to weapon customization, it's very bare bones. Like it's like you can get some attachment mods and then some mods, but all the mods are pretty much the same. All the attachment mods are the same. So if I buy a compensator for the rifle, every rifle shares one attachment mod. I can't get a different attachment mod each rifle, or like, but if I have this one, I take it off of this one and put it on this one. So you can't equip like 3 rifles if you wanted to do that, because then they'll all have to fight over which attachment mods they'll have. Very dumb to me. Uh, the armor and stuff, it's not very well utilized. I don't really see a lot of the results of the stuff. Maybe the max stamina, but besides that, that's it. Stamina, horrible. This guy runs out of breath. Oh my god. So when he runs out of breath quickly. Swimming, you drown just about instantly. Very stupid. Even skydiving. What is that? Even skydiving is very poorly done because they just don't care. Look at this. And it's like I'm just following nothing. Other Far Cries, they at least had the lines there. It felt like there was some speed, some weight to it. This, it feels like nothing. It feels like I'm just like, I'm in the air basically. But it's whatever. See ya? See what I mean? Medic, regular bullets. It just doesn't matter anymore. It just doesn't. None of it matters. Is what's weird to me. I can't believe it with this game and the gameplay. It's just horrible. The driving. Uh, they're cars technically, but the driving doesn't matter at all. The driving's not very good. The flying's not very good. Cars are drifty and they kind of, the back tires really skirt. The back tires really skirt around. Even when it comes to driving boats and stuff, the back of the boats really are slippery most of the time. Most boats do that stuff. It's idiotic. Some of them have guns, grenade launchers. I don't know why exactly, because there's few instances where you even have a chance to fight like this. Like, you can call your car. There's a thing in the menu to call your car, but yeah, there's a thing to call your car, but there's no point. Because half of the time, the roads are just like, the roads are very straightforward, and the enemies don't chase you like in other Far Cry's they did, where every time they saw you, they'd immediately chase you. In this, they kind of go past you and just keep it pushing. But most of the time, the roads are dumb and weird, and a lot of the areas you have to go are near one of your spots. So that's why most people just fast travel and do the airdrop in order to get there quickly, which is which then makes driving completely dumb. I also said it 100 times. These Libertad paths are only really good for a horse or running, but you can't call a horse. You can only choose to call a car. So it really sucks. It really sucks. I don't know what to do with it. Next up, I'd say, is flying, driving, swimming, all dumb. Your outfit choices are, it's just, I don't know, guns are very minimal. Like, this is all the guns, and there are hundreds of more chests I can get. Those are all the pistols. all the Supremos, and there's more. I have more uranium than I have Supremos for some reason. That's all of them. Like, I haven't even gotten some of these unique ones. Because they want me to go on some stupid hunts for, like, chests and stuff. I don't get it. But it's not a lot at all by a lot of at least by a game this size standards. It's ridiculous. Next up, I'd say is the army fighting and taking over bases is something that I want to say something about. So, when it comes to a base, you get in, as you saw what I did, you just do the same thing. You shoot the two alarms, two usually three, and if you actually upgraded your hideouts enough, you can get information on each one. Shoot that, then you just kill everyone with headshots from your one pistol. That's really it. The army does not fight well in the slightest. They don't know what they're doing, where they're going. They don't see you. They die easily, and you cannot die very easily. I didn't die much from fighting at all, unless it was like really stupid stuff. But yeah, it's not done great at all. Uh, Enemy detection is terrible, and NPCs don't help you at all. The spec ops missions, I said before, their look is cool, but they're the same thing over and over. Get in. It's basically like doing this, but starting all the way over there. You come over here, you get some stupid MacGuffin, you get out, keep it wet, kill like 24 guys, and then you leave. That's it. Not to mention base sizes. This is about the size of every base, in all honesty. They're all about the same size. They all have like no, never 20, but around 10. Like it's very lazy. Crafting, the weapon wheel, it's all very dumb.
Is that a glowing cat?
Shut up. In the sense that I hate the way this thing works because you have to like hold it. You have to kind of hold it. Whenever I try to like press it quick, there's so many times throughout I'd like try to press up or down really quick to go, and it would not go, and I'd be sitting there stuck. The weapon wheel gives you everything within the first beginning of the game. At the beginning of the game, you get the grappling hook, the fishing rod, your car thing, this, and you have access to all of these immediately because they got rid of any type of skill tree because they want to replace it with your arsenal. And the reason they want to replace it with your arsenal is pretty simple. Because because Ubisoft has a store and they want you to buy things. Look at all this stuff to buy. They want you to buy different outfits and shirts and cars and gun types. And that's it. That's the only reason they got rid of it all. There's like, okay, your character starts with everything, and your outfits will have little buffs in it, and that's it. It's very stupid. They could have at least given you different Supremos if they're gonna do all that, but that's a whole other thing. I don't even know what to say at certain points because I've said it. The boss fights, there's no real boss fights even. There's no boss fights. There's no bosses. It's just at the end of the day, this is a lazy game. The the combat, if I want to call it that, the gameplay, the core gameplay, it's a 2. No, I'm not gonna say it. I think it might be the same length of the story. I don't know. The guns feel like nothing. Running around, healing. It's all very stupid and lazy. I'll give it the same as the story of 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 6.8 is like... Hold on. That means this game is about a 50 out of 100. Math, which is an F, I believe, or at least a D. But I'd say that's solid. I'd say this is about a D plus if I was being nice. It sucks. I'd rather play Far Cry 5. I'd rather play any Far Cry. Even my list of how Far Cry's would go would be 3, 4, 5, New Dawn, then this. This is worse than New Dawn. They completely wasted the guy that plays Gus. All this area has nothing in it. This giant map has nothing in it. It's not fun. I don't even know how to explain the fact that we are not gorillas. We don't employ any of those tactics. We don't do any things like that. We treat it like a social club. I've said it 100 times over. This is Saints Row, the new Gen Z Saints Row, mixed with some Far Cry elements, and hit with a hit with a very boring liberal message of acceptance and stuff, I guess. It's garbage. Another thing I do want to talk about quickly is the wokeness of it. I've said it a bit throughout this, but my god. Like, there's like three guys of power in this entire, in all of Libertad, and I don't, at a certain point, I was questioning it. It's very obvious what they're trying to do. It's trying to be left versus right, liberals versus, is it conservatives they are? Republicans, Democrats, blue, red. It seems like that's all they're trying to do. Every single villain is, most of the villains are a guy. I think, yeah, most of the villains are a guy, and they're all bad. They all say rape and murder and stay in your place, or they don't like this. The two girls are so underutilized because, of course, girls can't be as bad as guys, which is this what this game seems to try to say. She has one scene. She doesn't even seem that bad. But yeah, guys suck. And then in Libertad, all girls are good. He has to die even after her father's death. She actually talks about, Clara talks about how if your dad was here, you guys wouldn't be here. It's thanks to Espada, not Danny, me. It's thanks to her that the Monteros will thrive and all that. Very stupid. She's supposed to be some badass girl, and she never showed it. I don't even want to talk about him. But Clara is supposed to be our great leader, and she's a girl, and just does nothing. She has the old head who's behind her, useless. What's his name? Paz or Bicho is just basically their fat, funny guy. But when it comes to these two, the interracial Afro Yaren, trans Yaren person, oh god, everything about them was just so much. Then you got her, who I'm pretty sure she said she liked girls, and then you got the old heads versus the Gen Z, and she's all in her feelings about everything, talking about how, God, it's just talking about like how new Yara is, and they like to how they're young and they should be able to party and fuck around. It's just it very much has that preachy message of it all, trying to scream some stuff in your face and tell you what you should and shouldn't like. It tells you should like Clara. It tells you should like all these characters. It tells you should like the drag characters and the gay ones and the trans ones, and they're good in that their struggle is tougher than life itself. They never show it. They never show why I should care about Clara or Libertad. They barely even show why Castillo is a bad guy. Like they show the little stuff, and I'm supposed to just like it's not enough to hold on. He doesn't do enough to
Don't
me.
take any shit, Danny.
Oh god. But they don't do enough for it.
Someone's firing!
Hold on, let me get this. That was annoying me. But that also brings me to another point. The leveling system. It's pointless also. None of these levels matter. And it's none of it matters. All these stupid messages, all these dumb missions, the insurgency, the journal, all of it is pointless. I did all this stuff for nothing. I wasted 50 hours, 50 to 60 hours of my life for nothing. It was just so stupid. Like, I've never, this is probably my least favorite game I've played in a while. Just for all of it. It wasn't fun. Like, games can have a bad story, but at least the gameplay's fun. Kind of like Days Gone. Like the gameplay. Games can have bad gameplay, but you can join the story. Kind of like, Detroit Become Human. Don't come at me. That gameplay is not really good. Or a game can have bad graphics, but still have a good story and good gameplay. Like, I don't know. The older Mario games? No, I can't think of one right now off the top of that. Bad graphics, but good. I don't know. I can't think of one. Maybe the old Gears of War, something like that. But at the end of the day, this game is just bad. Ubisoft is doing the worst of the worst that it can with this. They just tried to pump out some messages. They thought that that would overshadow the horrible gameplay, the stupid story, and the average graphics, and it doesn't for me. I'm gonna be honest. If I was to give this a woke rating of like from 1 to 10, this is about a 7 when it comes to the terms of it, all the stuff it tries to shove down your head. And that's why the game tells you to start here first. Because had I started over here with this, and then got to more of this would have felt like the least, this is the least woke of it. It's a daughter and his and her father arguing about some stuff. That's whatever. But then you get to this with the trans stuff, with her hilarious. I forgot about her hilarious line of is she was talking about her girl. It was just all funny. But and then you get to this with the school shooting and the old versus the young. It's just yeah, it's just so much. I can't even do it with this. Like my thoughts of this game are just drenched throughout it. I hated most of it. I hate the story. I hate the characters. Hate the world. I really dislike the gameplay. Graphics are okay. And that's it. There's not anything great to say about this game. It's not like I'm sitting there having the most fun at all. It was a slog to get through. There's games that I would rather play at any moment. There's moments when I nearly gave up. There's just so many scenes where I was confused and sitting there just like, why? There's characters, I don't think there's a single character I care about. I don't think there's anyone I like. I don't think there's anyone I want to live. There, in the beginning of the game, as Danny, you could have just left Yara forever, and that's it. And you'd hear on the news that Clara died and Libertad lost. And honestly, I don't know if that's the bad thing. Especially considering that horrible ending that I have nothing to say to because it was just so horrible. Anton just kills his son and then himself, and I don't know why. To this day, I don't know why. I don't know what happened. I don't know what his logic was. I don't get it. It's all so out of nowhere. Oh my god, I don't know. I think I'm gonna call that it for my little rants on this game. I just don't get it. Ubisoft is a good company. They used to make really good games, and it's like somewhere along the line, I mean, it might just be a bigger problem in media in general with the way they try to push girls and guys and all these agendas, and they don't even know how to push it right. Like, Espada could have been, honestly, the leader. I think what should have, something I'm going to start doing, let me say how I would have maybe fixed this game. How I would have fixed it, first off, maybe make Danny Anton's son. Maybe make us Anton's son, something like that. And we throughout the game don't know it, the player, but Danny knows, and they don't tell anyone. Say we try to leave in that boat where those people were. Maybe even Clara could have been there, leader of Libertad. She's trying to get people out. Anton comes in, kills her, right? As Danny, we see it all go down. She gives us the way to find Libertad. We find Juan in them, and then he kind of tells us what we need to do, yada yada, and then we go to the areas, and I'd say then maybe it should have been more based on choices. Also, I think that's something else that could have helped the story feel like something. Give us more time with these people and actually have us do missions with them instead of we just call them. Have these characters interact with us more. Maybe each time we come to an area, they capture us or we have a run-in with them. When we come to a new area, the main villain will capture us or do something. Have us choose whether we help out her or we help out her father, which one of these two we help out, whatever. Whether we help out the Legends or La Morale, whatever. And then in the end, maybe even have it so that based on our decisions, like say we either kill or capture these people. If we capture them, maybe Diego is on our side more and we don't have to kill him. Say we kill these people like his mom and uncle, say then at the end he's more towards his dad's side of things. I don't know. That's just a quick fix, and also maybe get rid of these stupid gun ammo types and just have us have guns and maybe some different bullets and stuff like that. But that's just a quick story change that I think could maybe make the game better. This game, but I know it's not that deep. I know it's not that simple. I know I'm not the smartest guy out there. I know that's not the easiest way to just like fix a game. But that's just a quick thought to me. I think those few changes would have done really good for the story. I think getting rid of half the stuff they put in for the gameplay would make the gameplay better. Graphics are what they are, but this game is just a D at best. It is not the best game at all for me. It's not very fun. It's just, and also quick thing, get rid of all this stupid messaging stuff. All of that messaging stuff is just stop. In all honesty, I don't know who Ubisoft thinks that they're like playing to, but I don't think it really led into what they wanted. I'm pretty sure Far Cry 6 might have like the worst sales out of all of them. I can't remember the chart I saw, but it might have the worst sales out of all of the Far Cry games, if I'm thinking right. I don't like, at least in terms of games sold. I don't think that Ubisoft needs to do all of this. I think that they are a good enough company. They have their problems with, we've all seen the jokes and the memes of how Ubisoft always has the towers and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they used to make good games. They used to actually try and care, and it's like somewhere along the line. I don't know if it's because of GTA. I don't know if it's investors or what, but somewhere along the line, this game company just said, you know what? We need to make our games more profitable. Okay, how do we do that? Make the game better, longer? What? No, let's try to sell them more stuff in the game. Let's make it so that they can buy weapons, they can buy time savers, they can buy XP packs, they can buy bullet packs. Let's make it so they can buy all this garbage so we can make more money per game. That's stupid. What about gameplay? What about any of it? Who cares? That's all they've done. 60 hours of terrible gameplay and weak story is just going to make someone upset, like me. 60 hours of sitting here running around doing ridiculous stuff, calling myself a garita, is just not gonna do anything for me. 60 hours of pretending as if anything we're doing, like drag shows and chicken fights and collecting stuff, is not gonna make me feel like a gorilla at all. Cut this in half and maybe it'd be less awful, or make any of this matter. Make it so that we actually care. Make it so that we have characters and friends that we like. I don't know, throw in a love interest, something. Make any connection. Then, like I said before, then if we were Anton's son or kid, everything we did would have mattered more. That could have been our mom we had to fight against, our uncle. And we're also trying to hide our secret from Libertad, who we're trying to help. Because who knows, maybe we could have even been dating Clara, and then she's the leader of Libertad. We're, the dictator's son, Romeo Juliet type thing. I don't know. But at the end of the day, there is a better way to make us connect or care about anyone instead of having us see them and telling us that their lives are hard and telling us that we're supposed to care about them and telling us that she's cool. This one's life sucks. This one's smart. I get it. Show and don't tell. Don't just tell me, show me. There's nothing worse in movies and shows than when they tell you how you're supposed to feel. I'm not going to feel something because someone tells me to feel something. Don't tell me to feel bad for places or people or things. If I don't feel it, I'm not going to feel it just because you say you have to. It's like in Marvel movies where they say, I like this character. I like her. Shut up. I don't care if you like her. She's done nothing to show that you should like her, and she has done nothing to show that I should like her. Okay. I'm just happy that I'm done with it. I'm upset that I played it. I don't know what to do with this game anymore. It was not. If I could vote worst game I played of the year, this is worse than Dead Island 2. And I didn't like Dead Island 2 a lot, but it was okay. This is just not good. Like, it's factually bad. It's factually lazy. But with that, I'm going to call that the end of this. That was my rant on Far Cry 6. It was very out of nowhere. I've been trying to slowly get my thoughts together better when I do these so I can remember everything. I'm going to start writing down more stuff and trying to do different things. Again, sorry about the dogs, they're fucking idiots. But I was just trying to get this rant out quickly so I could remember everything. This game is just the epitome of not caring about anything, not liking the fans, not understanding what you are. And yeah, that's all I can say about it. Anyone that does like this game, I have seen the Far Cry forums. I've seen some people say that this game's good, that Anton is a great villain. I wonder if they're okay mentally, because if you played this and actually like that's what you take away from it, you might need help. I'm gonna be honest, because that is not what this game is. This game is just this game is just a dumpster fire of random stuff happening. Like, it feels like all they wanted to do was throw in some weird message, and then they built a game around that message. They treat being a gorilla and a libertad no different than, like, I don't know, being an activist. Like, that's really what they try to, like, throw these people into. It's like, protest and shooting down soldiers is about the same thing. It's like, no, they're two different things. But with that, we are done here. We are done with Far Cry 6. I will never come back to this. New Game Plus, DLC or not, I'm done with this game forever. Worst game I played of the entire year. But, hey, argue with me if you want in the comments. Say if anything I said was too crazy or not. If you disagree, uh, have at it. Tell me what you think about the game, about what you saw in it, about what I said, really. I know my thoughts are kind of rambled. I'm gonna start writing them down as I play and write down what I think and how it goes. But that's just my little hour-long soapbox of this game and what its faults are. I haven't said anything crazy or new, maybe besides the woke part, but because it's definitely 7 out of 10 on the woke scale. But besides that stuff, everything I've said is basically things that other people have reiterated and said before about this game. So if you have any problems with what I'm saying, or you might think I'm wrong, you have any proof, if you want to debate me, go ahead. Try not to get too crazy. Is if you're trying to bake, then I'm not gonna respond to that. But I will respond to a good debate if you can. Hey, maybe show me the light. Maybe have me see something I'm not seeing in this game. Besides that, I do thank any and everyone that watched for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, notifications, all that. And yeah, next game we play is hopefully going to be Borderlands if another deal comes, because I missed the deal, and now it was $30 for the game, the full game with everything. Now it's 100 again, and I'm not doing that. So yeah, until next time, like, comment, subscribe, notifications, all that stuff, and I will see you hopefully in Borderlands.